How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. I am your host, Richie, here with my guys. Window 2, Mr. Idris Salam, a.k.a. Bosco from the Bronx.
Yo, let's roll.
Hi. How's it going, bro? You good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know we talking baseball, so you know it's a good day.
Baseball.
Big one for baseball. Mr. Corey Rain.
What's up?
AKA Buster Only.
Yeah. He is our baseball
Curtin,
guru.
whichever one you want to call him.
Good to have you here, Corey. On tonight's show, we're going to be hitting on the legendary Willie Mays.
Oof.
We're going to be hitting on his impact, all of it. Got some baseball list, all-time pitchers and position players that we want to have a deep conversation on. And we're going to hit on a very wacky game going down in the BX Borough as the Orioles square up their series with the Yankees, one apiece. Hell of a game. We're going to get into it. Enjoy this intro, and we will be right back. How we doing, guys? We are back. Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Tough loss for the Yankees tonight. We're going to start it up in the Bronx. Yankees and Orioles play wild one in the Bronx with playoff atmosphere present. The Orioles win 7-6 in 10 innings. Yankees' Aaron Judge missed tonight's game with the hand injury. X-rays came back negative. Yankees waste Giancarlo Stanton's 4 RBI night. Still tough luck for Clay Holmes, although I'm not looking to point the finger just at him tonight. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on tonight's tough defeat?
I mean, the Orioles not a walk in the park. We already know that from last year. So we was going home to take on a tough team, period, bottom line. And we're down Aaron Judge, so that changes things with Stanton and all hitting the ball. I believe if Judge was in the game, it might be a different story because then you have to say, okay,
right,
we got to worry about this guy right here. So I think that was the difference. It's not making excuses why we lost because still we gave up 7 runs.
Valiant effort. Bullpen just did not have it, and maybe Cole was pulled too early. I don't know the plan with that. I'm not sure, but even so. You were going to use the bullpen regardless, and it just they've been rough lately.
Yeah. So that's why I say, regardless, we still gave up 7 runs.
Yes.
So you give up 7 runs, you might lose. Lose.
Yeah, our buddy Jasiel Martinez, he was pretty pissed off that Cole was pulled after 60 pitches. His point was he looked so good in his rehab assignment, and he looked good tonight. But this is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
First game back, you gotta be conservative regardless of how he looks because you don't want any setbacks. Marinaccio, unfortunately, served up a home run.
Yeah, and he had actually been good before that. Marinaccio had been good prior to this game. Now, the Yankees were going to be in a bullpen game regardless, whether Cole pitched 5 or not. Yes.
I'm more bothered with Oswaldo Cabrera getting gunned down at second. Just a horrible jump. I couldn't believe that. I don't know. I'm like, you're coming into a game to likely attempt to steal a bag. You gotta do better. You gotta do better.
Like the steal attempt. I just don't like how he executed it.
I mean, you got to give Rutschman credit for making an excellent throw. I mean, he's only thrown out about 22% of base stealers this year. Everybody's been running on Trevino lately, too. But the real backbreaker was overthrowing third base.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
That's Holmes a run that
Holmes got snake bit. He really did. And I know people are going to jump on him and say he's not a closer or whatever, but yeah.
Well, number one, he didn't come in to close the game.
No.
Right. Number two, the ghost runner doesn't count against your ERA.
No.
Right.
He gives up a bloop single, and then they overthrow the base, and he gets the second, and then, the error by Trevino. I mean, it's all,
Yeah, overthrowing third base hurts because
what's weird though?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always knew Trevino didn't have the greatest arm, but prior to that Boston game, the running game wasn't really a problem for the Yankees.
True.
So why now?
Right. True.
I just think that more teams are picking up on tendencies and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like anything else, as you have more sample sizes being out, it becomes a little more easier to apply a strategy to steal bases better, but the Trevino overthrow, what pisses me off about that is that he didn't give his own self the best chance. Even on the cutoff run. Mullins should have remained at first. Verdugo should have threw to the cutoff man.
Yep.
There were some instrumental things that went down. Juan Soto made a mistake too. I mean, I understand 2 strikes. You got to put wood on the ball.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, also, you got to look at Verdugo saved their bacon as well with that great catch.
No question. The story of the game is, in a nutshell, Marinaccio gave up a big home run. Cole looked good for his first game back. Jahmai Jones is your man to potentially win the game. Aaron Judge could not come up to hit today.
Yeah.
Do I think he could have hit? Yeah. Do I think Boone's not willing to take a chance right now? That's also a yes.
You can't.
Well, with Boone, I mean, and that's Boone. Boone doesn't really take chances. He makes them. Yeah, I think he should have taken the chance.
I mean, I think everybody in the stadium wanted Judge to come up because, one flick of the wrist could be a tied game or even a walk-off. But
I understand it. But,
As a fan, you want him to take a risk.
Always as a fan, you want that. The encouraging thing to me is Giancarlo Stanton is looking better and better in pressure situations. Yes. Juan Soto did piss me off today because Volpe had that bag taken. And if you're going to swing, you have got to make sure that you are basically getting a hit. I'm sorry. You take the strike out there for the bag.
I agree.
Right.
Nobody out. I understand that you want to make something happen.
Listen, man, I thought Volpe played amazing.
Yeah.
Like, the way he plays defense is incredible. Like,
he low-key makes plays that people take for granted. But there were more than a couple of plays today that could have been infield hits. And, in a couple of instances, Volpe saved a couple of runs. These Yankee fans is going to start going berserk about Clay Holmes. My thing is this. I measure, is he really getting hit around or is it a lot of soft contact? And, you're playing the Orioles.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's not getting hit around. Now, last night, granted, he gave up a home run. That was the first one he gave up all year.
Yeah.
But I think his batting average on balls in play is in the 370, 380 range. That's not sustainable.
It's not.
I mean, I imagine the Yankees are going to be making a move.
They do. They need depth. Hamilton has gone down. And he wasn't right. You
miss Loaisiga right now. You also miss Michael King, who was part of the Soto trade. These are 2 guys you miss this time of the year right now. But there's players that the Yankees could bring in deals. I said this on a previous show. You comb through rosters of teams that are not going anywhere that you can get some bullpen help, and there are plenty of them. Go to the National League.
Go to the National League. Tanner Scott from the Marlins, a left-hander that throws hard. He's a good candidate. I think Mason Miller is they're going to ask for too much.
Yeah, Mason Miller probably be a little too expensive in terms of what you have to give up. But no, I can see them going to the Marlins. There are teams out there that the Yankees could pluck from.
And as we know, they turn relievers into really plus arms all the time. Guys you would never think would be. So,
and you know what? With the Marlins and Marlins are always selling.
Yeah,
I mean, let's keep it. When I don't care if they're Miami, I don't care if they're Florida. The Marlins, Florida Marlins, Miami Marlins, whatever you want to call them. The South Beach Marlins, they're going to be that next. They're always selling, so we can get some out of it.
The only time that the 2 World Series runs,
right?
And when Don Mattingly got Manager of the Year in a 60-game season, I'm not trying to diss my guy Mattingly or anybody who wins anything. There should be nothing in a 60-game season.
Look,
baseball screwed up that year. They should have made it at least 81 games, regardless of the pandemic. 60 games is not enough.
There's a reason why Derek Jeter said, "I'm done with you."
Yeah,
right, exactly.
It's like the polar opposite of everything that he was used to.
Miami Marlins, I mean, Florida, whatever. They sell like cocaine comes through Miami.
They are horrible.
That's what they do.
They're a horrible organization. I mean,
you know what's funny though?
Nothing ever sustainable.
They have the same amount of rings as the Mets.
Right. In shorter time.
I don't know if that says more about the Marlins or more about the Mets, but that is the truth. And they have 2 more than the Mariners.
Right.
Yes.
Which is really hard to believe because the Mariners have had some great teams over the years. They just never been able to win the big one.
Like that 125 game win season that we
Yeah. Yeah, ultimately losing to the Yankees. That was a crazy one. He took a shot. I'm not worried about the Yankees all that much right now. I do want to shout out Ben Rice looked good.
He looks good.
He looks like he belongs on this team.
What do you think of his defense? Not bad, right?
Not by any means. I mean, listen, I love Anthony Rizzo, but the reality is I love who Anthony Rizzo used to be.
Yes.
I cannot wait for the New York Yankees to get rid of Gleyber Torres. This is the thing with Torres. He should have scored the first time.
Yep.
In extras. I'm like, you don't know that ball's going to fall? Everybody in the stadium knows that ball's going to fall.
You know what frustrates me about Torres is like he's too talented to play the way he does.
Yes.
He gets in his head too much. I'll be honest with you. His baseball acumen, as long as I have watched his career, has just never been up to snuff.
Yep.
But you thought you were getting a shortstop. You're not. You're getting a second baseman. You thought you were getting a guy that was going to hit 280, 290. You're not.
No. What you hope for is in October he gets hot and,
if he's here.
Yeah, I mean, that's another possibility, too. That's a good point.
But I must say this. Since LeMahieu's come back, they're taking away time from Oswaldo Cabrera, and I'm not happy about that.
No.
He belongs in to be an everyday player. If anything, I would mix and match LeMahieu and Torres. I don't know why Cabrera is the odd man out when he performed the way he did. It makes no sense to me.
I will go another step and say John Birdie when he comes back.
Yeah.
Should play.
The only time that John Birdie's available is when I'm using him in the show.
I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of DJ LeMahieu, man.
It's time.
I understand.
It's time.
I'm fed up.
It's time.
I'm a big fan of him. I like the way he plays the game.
Yeah, but he just.
It's time. There's 3 guys on the Yankees right now that should not be back next year. DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres.
I actually think LeMahieu will be back, though.
I think he will be.
Because he's a depth piece and because he's still in the contract.
I think with Cole being yanked, I wanted him to stay a little bit longer, 60 pitches, but I can see why you don't want to throw him and then he's throwing 90 pitches right out the gate. Let him work his way back.
And people always like to point fingers at the Yankees, like we're playing the bad news Bears every night, and this is the Orioles. They're good, great.
The happiest guy after today's game, undeniably, is Craig Kimbrell. Craig Kimbrell. But the thing is, you had to get that second run. Mm-hmm. You had to get that second run, and they had their chance. It's just still fundamental stuff that gets me a little aggravated with these guys.
I still don't like the ghost runner though.
Nobody likes that shit.
Yeah, I thought they was gonna get rid of that last year, but
that thing is never going
the
anywhere.
The thing is, they get rid of it when the playoffs start. So what?
Right.
Like,
well, yeah. I mean, it would be a little awkward if you have a ghost runner in Game 7 of the World Series. The reason why I hate the ghost runner is because it just gives you the feel of some kind of like social club softball league.
Just put the damn guy on third base.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Or like the Teamster League or some shit.
The thing that scares me about the deadline, because the Orioles need bullpen help, clearly. Kimbrel, you can't trust him in a big game.
No.
But they have the assets to make trades. Yeah. So it's going to be scary if they get somebody.
I'll tell you what worries me. I said this on a previous show. Pete Alonso, I think he makes sense for 2 East teams, and those 2 teams are the Orioles and the Red Sox. Zappy made a point about Bo Bichette possibly going to the Dodgers. That makes a lot of sense, too, because Toronto, the only thing that has not happened in Toronto yet that I'm waiting for is when Mattingly gets the promotion.
But do you think the Red Sox are really going to pursue Pete Alonso?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
Bichette just got hurt.
They have the funds. They just don't want to.
I mean, they have it, but we got a dumb. They got a dumb owner. We already see that.
Oh yeah, John Henry's the worst.
Yeah, who's turned into Jimmy Jones.
I have a crazy idea. I know Yankee fans won't agree with me, but what if the Yankees just became assholes and got Vlad Jr.?
I mean, why not?
Exactly.
I mean, why not?
The Jays will never trade with us, though.
I would go as far as being like, we want Mattingly back too.
Yeah,
we can find a role for him. He was formerly a hitting coach. He was a bench coach. We can find a role for him.
I mean, he could probably hit better than Rizzo at this point.
Yeah, that's not saying much, but I do believe that Donnie probably could pull that off. Back
Make
issues.
Him the DH, man. Make him the DH.
Yeah, Donnie's probably looking at Rizzo like, you have back issues? Come on, bro.
Make him the DH.
Nah, in all seriousness, though, like, I don't want to see Rizzo get hurt, even though he's been bad, you know?
No, but the God's honest truth, and this is the sad part, is if he didn't get injured, it was the only way that he wasn't going to be in the lineup.
Right.
So while I don't wish injury, I'm going to be honest, I don't want him in the everyday lineup anymore.
No.
When we traded for him a couple of years ago, I was like, because I liked Rizzo, but he just he can't stay on the field, and he get on the field.
It goes back to last year. He was doing just fine with the Yankees until that Tatis collision.
Yeah, and he was good the year prior to that too.
Yes, he was. Then the back,
he came over within a week or so of Gallo, and Gallo was a train wreck from jump.
Yeah.
Whereas Rizzo was winning over fans quickly, but the problem is, he can't stay healthy anymore.
He's a great chemistry guy. There's no question about that.
He's like what's the guy we let go a couple years last year with the mustache.
Oh, you're talking about Matt Carpenter?
Carpenter. Yeah.
Matt Carpenter. I said this before. If you had a 27-man roster and not a 26, I could have justified keeping Matt Carpenter. But the problem is, when Giancarlo Stanton's making the money he's making, you can't be like, you're not the DH today.
Right.
That's just the way it is, because Carpenter was basically off the scrap heap because he looked terrible before we got him, and then he kind of resurrected his career.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big loss when he got injured in Seattle that year.
He was going nuts. Like, he was just hitting bombs.
I like Mike Carpenter. I was like, I was liking that. I was like, yeah.
No, everybody for a second I thought they cloned out Mattingly, like 86 Mattingly, just cranking home runs, and
he's got like a sweet swing.
Yeah, I was like, what year is this? All right. Yankees for the win tomorrow. Luis Gil's on the mound. I said it now. All right. Baseball legend Willie Mays passes at the age of 93. His impact is one that's felt all over MLB. This is a guy that retired, a 24-time All-Star. This is a guy.
That's insane.
660 career home runs, a one-time world champion, but that one time produced arguably the greatest defensive play in the history of the World Series, the over-the-shoulder catch against the then Cleveland Indians, who were actually heavy favorites to win that series against the Giants. And many feel that catch just pushed the tide in the favor of the Giants. This is a Giants team that played back then at the Polo Grounds. At the end of the day, they had to deal with the Yankees. They had to deal with the Brooklyn Dodgers. New York City had 3 quality teams, which the Yankees, for the most part, feasted. The relocation to the West Coast. I know some fans were in their feels that he got retired by the Mets. I tried to explain this to people in the past, that he was a New York sports icon that didn't have a place to be retired, because him getting retired in Yankee Stadium would make little to no sense, because the Yankees are an American League team.
Right.
I mean, the Mets essentially have the logo that the Giants once had.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, but they're the Giants.
I'm a fan of him being retired in Citi Field. I have zero issue with that.
Me neither.
But
he was a Mets, and like I said, the Mets, they come from the Giants and the Dodgers.
That's right. You put them together. Those are the 2 colors that form the Mets.
Right. So even though the Mets are trash, and I feel proud saying that, I'm a Mets hater, but it's the right thing to do.
No, I just feel that, even seeing Aaron Judge's post-game presser after Game 1 of this Orioles series, saying that his family had friends that were family of Willie.
Yeah.
And even for Willie to share some jewels with Aaron about being a better thrower from the outfield.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge fondly spoke about that. To me, this is the same kind of impact of the NBA losing a Bill Russell or a Jerry West. This is the same kind of impact of Kobe. That's the kind of man that Willie Mays was. He was a guy that long after he left the game as a player, he was always giving back and was just always a mentor to any and all who wanted to pick his brain. His godson is Barry Bonds, very controversial. Willie retired with 660 home runs, 24-time All-Star. I mean, really wrap your head around that.
It's so crazy.
That's almost 3 decades worth of All-Star appearances. That is just unfathomable how great that is.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And he played in Candlestick. Yeah. And that was not a hitter's park.
No, it was not. It's not what they have now.
It was a dusty one, but it wasn't a hitter's park. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's not what they have now. That's for damn sure. Definitely not what they have now. Say Hey Kid, he's part of pop culture too. It's like there are no wrong answers for certain players when you talk about who's the all-time greatest, because everything is due to subjectivity. But whenever I think about just 5 off the top of my brain, Willie Mays is always at the top of the list.
Always.
You have to consider Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ty Cobb. That caliber of player are the guys that you constantly cannot avoid thinking about. And yes, I hate to piss people off, steroid era or not, Barry Bonds might be the toughest guy to ever retire. It just is what it is. You can't deny that value.
Richie, it's crazy because just last week, me and you said the same thing about Jerry West. It's just some people, it's just some athletes that when you talk about the greatest, that you say, okay, these guys are automatically on the list.
Yes.
Jerry West, and you say Willie Mays, say these guys, it doesn't matter who breaks their records or whatever, these guys will always be mentioned among the greatest of all time.
And I have a lot of respect for that Giants organization because, a couple of personal tidbits, not me directly, but people that I care for or care about. My late grandfather, he had a cup of coffee in the Giants minor league system. He did his time in the minors. He served in the war, but he did have an encounter with Willie Mays, which he was always so very fond of. Something as simple as Willie going to the dugout as an established superstar in a great game against essentially an unknown, patting my grandfather on the leg and saying, "Keep your chin up. You're going to be a hell of a ball player one day. Keep doing what you're doing. I see you." And just something as simple as that, I think, speaks volumes about the way that he was always just trying to uplift anybody and those around me, which speaks volumes about the kind of teammate he definitely was.
Right.
You know, my grandfather would light up in the few times that he did share that story with me. My girlfriend, Jen, her grandmother used to do business with that organization. They used to rent cars to the guys during spring training. Her grandmother threw out the first pitch when she had terminal cancer. That's a good organization. One that I have no other choice but to respect.
This is why, and this goes out to the younger generation, because they seem to discredit those of the past.
Yes.
You got to respect these guys, because these guys really play for. They didn't play for they didn't play for millions.
No.
They didn't play for, but when they played the game because they love the game.
They love the game, exactly.
They love the game, and we're not going to have them around all the time, because we've lost Jerry West last week. We lost
the NBA has been hard hit. They've lost like 5 legends in the last 4 years.
Right.
What
I'll
say about Willie Mays is, to me, he represents everything. Like, when I think of baseball, like the purity of baseball and why I love it, I think of Willie Mays, because in my opinion, he played in the golden era of baseball.
Exactly.
Where it was just the purest form of the sport.
Yeah.
And they would say, you know, in New York, it was Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Yes.
And I believe the Yankees, but to me, Willie is the greatest ever. And that's my humble opinion.
I could agree with that. And you know, Corey, the thing about those players back in Willie's day, you know, and like we always say, Sandy Koufax is my favorite pitcher of all time. Those guys played. It wasn't where they played 2 innings, sit down, like the pitchers played. It's like, no, you play. They play for their money.
They play because they didn't have any other choice. Right. They had to get jobs in the off season sometimes.
Right. They played.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, Willie Mays, man. I mean, legend,
ambassador of the game, for sure. Yeah,
forever. I mean, his name will never be forgotten. And I agree with you. I would call him probably the greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No weaknesses, I don't think.
No, it wasn't his arm. He had speed. He hit for average. He hit for power. Honestly, when I really think about it, you can come up with at least one little weakness in the best of the best. Even Barry Bonds, what was his weakness? He couldn't throw.
Yep.
He couldn't throw. What was Ricky Henderson's weakness? A lot of people feel that he was obviously lazy in a lot of metrics.
I don't think Willie had one. I just don't.
I don't either.
No, I have to, and I have literally no issue as a lifelong Yankee fan saying that there's a distinct possibility that he was indeed the greatest baseball player of all time. 24 All-Star game appearances cannot be wrong.
That's it. I think one of the best pictures is the best photos is that photo when he's jumping up to the wall and making that catch. Man.
Oh no, that's iconic.
That's
truly iconic.
I think the throw might be more impressive.
Yeah, well, he gave
and correct me if I'm wrong. When he threw, didn't his hat go flying when he turned around and beamed it in?
He threw it. You could tell he just threw his whole arm off.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some great catches. You know, you have a lot of great center fielders that were inspired by him being like the king of them. But I mean, defensively, for instance, you know, Andrew Jones, Jim Edmonds. I remember Ken Griffey Jr.'s highlight reels of, you know, some of the plays that he made in center field. You know, Bernie was a great center fielder. What was his weakness? He didn't have an arm.
But never really
he did everything else right, you know, but no, Willie will be missed, man. We could go on for 3 hours and it still wouldn't do him enough justice.
It could be endless. There's not enough time to really summarize what he meant, honestly.
But the truth is that Major League Baseball, I put it on them. They're going to do a good job of honoring him in various ways, and which is well deserved.
That's what I told Corey off air. I said, I wanted to play the outfield. I can catch and all that, but I had no arm.
You know what's really eerie?
No arm.
You know what's really eerie, though? Spike Lee was at a Yankee game last week. Mm-hmm. The last time. I think it was when they were playing the Dodgers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And he mentioned to one of the announcers, when are they going to retire 24? I swear. Isn't that crazy?
It is now.
It is, and it's an interesting one. It's interesting because you have contingent in Major League Baseball that there are certain players that they feel should be retired by everyone, like a Ruth, a Clemente, a Mays.
Yeah.
I think it's a touchy one because of the sheer fact that what Jackie Robinson did and why he's retired is bigger than baseball. So that always makes it a tough one.
Paul O'Neill said that Willie was his idol. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the idol to many, and I think if there's something that I want to just flat out say that I'm disappointed about, it's that when I look at Barry Bonds, quite possibly the greatest player of all time, he's in the conversation as well.
Yep.
Don't you think from a humble nature he would have just maybe got a little bit more rubbed off on him by Willie? That's one thing that I've always mysteriously found interesting because
it is.
Barry Bonds, I'm just going to say it. He was an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
He was an asshole. He wasn't a nice guy.
But at the end of the day, Willie still loved him,
Yeah.
No question about it. But it just always blew my mind how that dude's your godfather. Your father, for the most part, was a classy dude. What happened?
I don't know.
What happened? Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that. You didn't know? With the clear?
Right.
Come on. But I get it. If you don't admit, you still keep your name alive for the Hall. He won't admit.
That's
unless if you're Big Papi Ortiz, then you could say.
I think it's ego. Bonds had a lot of ego involved with that.
A lot of ego.
He saw Big Mac and Sosa, and he was like, "These guys can't carry my luggage. Why?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the sad thing with Bonds is that without all that, he was already well off to a Hall of Fame career before he ever put on a giant uniform.
He was winning MVP when he was with the Pirates.
Right. And he was a better overall player because when he became the human bobblehead, he couldn't run.
No.
It took certain aspects out of his game where he became exclusively a home run hitter. He was obsessed with smashing all the records.
From 2001 to 2004, he's basically the best hitter I ever saw.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never in my life seen a guy where you would willingly walk him with the bases loaded because you saw it as less of a penalty.
Right.
And it was.
Like literally be willing to give up a run just to not face him. I have never in my life seen anything like that and probably never will.
Well, you seen the boats in McCovey Cove, right?
Yeah. Those dudes used to wait in the boats, see if they could catch one. That was wild.
With the fishing nets and everything, man.
I talked about this on a recent show with Mike Zappi about hypocrisies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the undeniable reality is that that era saved baseball.
It did.
And we can get into this in a million ways. We're not going to do it tonight on that level, but the steroid era undeniably saved Major League Baseball, and that's it is what it is.
The powers that be want to act brand new and holier than thou. It's not right. It's hypocrisy at its finest, honestly.
Yeah. I've said this a million times, and I will say it on more shows. They never cared until Congress did.
Exactly.
Boom.
I am slightly parched. I'm going to turn my camera off and go take a little walk down the hallway, get a little more water. While I do that, I'm going to put up our top 25 all-time Major League players. Who do we miss is the first question. I'm going to let you guys have at it, and I will be right back.
Right, Corey.
All right.
Only. You can start it off. It's all you, man. You there?
Did it put it up?
Yeah, it's up. It's up. Oh, you don't see it?
I don't see it, no.
Oh, that's strange. Let's see what's going on. When we get back to number one, I'll read them. But what we got so far, we got Tony Gwynn, Josh Gibson, and Ernie Banks. George Brett and Mike Schmidt. Come on, Ticker. Keep going. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Let's go start from the top. We got Babe Ruth, of course, Willie Mays, Ted Williams, Lou Gehrig, Pete Rose, Roberto Clemente, Johnny Bench, the catcher, Mickey Mantle, the Mick, Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra, Barry Bonds, Stan Musial, Albert Pujols, Ken Griffey Jr., Alex Rodriguez, Carl Ripken, Ty Cobb, Honus Wagner, who has probably the most expensive baseball card out there, Derek Jeter, the captain, Hammer and Hank, Ricky Henderson, Mike Schmidt, Philadelphia Phillies, George Brett, Tony Gwynn, powerful Josh Gibson, and Ernie Banks.
If I missed anyone, I'm going to name drop one guy.
He can't see the ticker. That's why I was reading it out to him.
Duke Snyder.
Yes.
If I missed one player, or if you want to debate it, Duke Snyder, and then you really got to get with it. Okay, who do I pull? And that's a very, very tough one.
Yeah, it's hard because
Ichiro Suzuki's another guy that I say just barely misses.
Yeah,
because Duke Snyder was in that era with Mantle and Mays.
Mm-hmm.
He was in New York at the time as well,
mm-hmm.
and he was really good. I don't think he's on the level of them, but
if this was a list of 30, I'd probably put Snyder in.
Yeah.
And I just want to let the viewer know this is not any particular order.
Right. Exactly.
I'm naming off guys that I feel belong for a litany of reasons. Ricky Henderson, all-time stolen bases leader.
Yeah.
Mike Schmidt, one of the best generational hitters, not to mention great with the glove. Tony Gwynn, when you look at how few strikeouts he had in his career, it is truly absurd. Ernie Banks is Mr. Cub.
Mm-hmm.
Babe Ruth makes the list twice because we have a picture list following this. Yeah. To me, Babe Ruth is the first bona fide superstar this game ever saw.
Yeah.
Ted Williams might be the purest hitter.
Yep.
You know, they didn't get the best of the Yankees, but you can make an argument that he was just as good, if not better, than DiMaggio and Mantle. And that is one of my favorite pictures that I have over here. Maybe before we get out of here, I'll bring the camera over to it. But I've got to pick from an old All-Star game of Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, a very young Mickey Mantle, and Joe DiMaggio. That's the only
classic.
Yeah, that's the only allowed Red Sox that can get into this Yankee room.
This is a crazy thing. I think Ted Williams hit 380 at the age of 38.
Mm-hmm.
38 years old, he hit 380.
That's truly absurd. And you know, why are we talking about this list? To be honest, it's inspired because of Willie Mays. When I think of Willie Mays, I think about debating. I think about Dan. I think about him more than any other player. Makes me think about the greatest of the great. And I truly believe, you know, Alex Rodriguez, okay. From a talent-based standpoint, similar to Bonds, I always felt that he was one of those dudes that never had to take a shortcut to be phenomenal.
Never.
Right.
I believe that he was a better shortstop than Derek Jeter, but I believe that given the scenario and the situation in New York when he came over, going to third base was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And he did well at third base.
He did well, yeah.
Yeah.
He did right by giving up shortstop to Ripken in the All-Star game.
Yep.
I think the two toughest on the list, the guys I would say I need them on an NFL team were probably Pete Rose and George Brett.
Yeah.
They're probably two grittiest ones. Like
they were men for sure.
Yeah, they were men.
First baseball glove I ever owned in Little League was actually a George Brett.
Yeah,
but
George Brett,
iconic Pine Tar incident, a game that the Royals actually won eventually.
That's not the greatest scene when he ran out.
Yeah, that was wacky the way that all went down.
Is that not the greatest reaction ever?
Yes, it has to be at least top 3. That was
no, that was it. That was it.
He was like, he's ready to kill everybody, man.
Just pure rage.
I think him and what's the manager? Tommy Lasorda going out there and was it Lasorda that picked up the base and threw it?
Yeah,
I know he kicked the dirt.
Two other guys.
Billy Martin's one was kicked the dirt. But I think
Billy Martin and Lou Piniella, two of the best, just temper-based. You know, Terry Collins has a famous one with the New York Mets.
Earl Weaver from back in the day.
Earl Weaver, Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, another one. Whitey Herzog was another one too. We get on base. We need to do a top 25 managers too.
That'll be a fun one. And starting with Bruce Bochy out of the current guys for sure. This is our list. I think we did good, but I want some feedback. Tell us who we missed. Tell us what we got wrong. We're gonna hit on the best pitchers.
Yeah, my favorite.
Sandy Koufax, the Rocket, Roger Clemens, Warren Spahn, Tom Seaver, Pedro Martinez, Bob Feller, Randy Johnson, Whitey Ford, chairman of the board, Bob Gibson, Juan Marichal, Greg Maddux, Phil Necro, Nolan Ryan, Roy Halladay, Justin Verlander, who's still active, Mike Mussina, Steve Carlton, Gerrit Cole, still active. He made his season debut tonight. Satchel Paige, Babe Ruth, Curt Schilling, John Smoltz, Mariano Rivera, the only pure closer that gets in here. Smoltz did both at different junctures. Catfish Hunter, Max Scherzer, Don Drysdale, CC Sabathia, and Jim Palmer.
Great.
Jim Palmer. People don't realize what type of pitcher Jim Palmer was. The guy was great.
He wasn't just known for the money store.
No. And the Orioles were a premier franchise at that time when he pitched.
Yeah.
This is the first time that they've even remotely given people hope of that sustained success, because even in the 90s when they flirted with challenging the Yankees, it was short-lived.
Yep.
The Brady Anderson used steroids. I was like, what? I was so pissed. I was like, that dude was a leadoff hitter.
Right.
I was mind blown. I was mind blown when he was on that list. I was like, him too?
I think you can kind of tell which guys, really needed it.
Yeah.
Oh, no question. Like Rafael Palmeiro, my all-time favorite.
Oh,
I did not use like with the finger wagging in the face.
Not.
Yeah, I did not.
and then your boy Sammy.
The Canseco's laughing at him. He's like, Rafi, you injected me.
And
Canseco
did no English over said he needed.
Yeah.
Now he's white.
Yeah. What about Sammy Sosa? You
no,
he's definitely one of those guys.
Now he's white. So,
Now he went from
Sammy Sosa to Sammy Simpson.
That and that goes into that whole other thing. We're going off base. I'll come back to the pitchers in a moment.
Another show we're going to talk about the changes of the.
That goes with the whole other hypocrisy with that Roger Maris rant that I went on the other day.
Oh, yeah,
Mark McGwire wants to hold your bat. Mark McGwire couldn't hold his dick. I said it. I don't care. I don't care how it sounds.
What's really bullshit though?
Yeah.
That Palmeiro stole a Gold Glove from Tino. That's bull.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's bull. Buddy, Don Mattingly's not in the Hall of Fame, right?
Right.
Who was the one first baseman that consistently edged him out for All-Star games while being a member of the Oakland Athletics?
Big Mac.
Thank you, sir. So if Mattingly had maybe, let's just say, I don't know, 9 or 10 All-Star appearances as opposed to 6, would that help his case? And this is what I mean. You get punished when you don't cheat. You get punished when you do cheat. Hypocrisy at its finest. Let's get back to the pitchers. Curt Schilling, his defining moment to me, the bloody sock. Mariano Rivera, just endless World Series moments. The one time that he was on the wrong side of it, Luis Gonzalez, the broken bat.
Yeah.
CC Sabathia, in my opinion, one of the last true enforcers.
Yep.
Yeah. Big cat.
Yeah, he had the old school mentality.
And he did, and basically he was forced to retire because his knee just couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Like he would have kept going. His arm was not problematic.
Well, he actually did very well with trimming down because being heavy didn't help him either.
Yeah. And
he had some issues with alcohol, which it appears that he truly addressed, and I also think that contributed to, sometimes being out of shape. Alcohol and this game have always been a thing that was hand in hand. The Boston Red Sox are actually the final team to give up alcohol in their clubhouse, or I should say this, that they were the team that ensured that was no longer going to be a thing because of some of the stuff that was happening.
One of the guys that sticks out, and there's a lot of them, I mean, they're all great pitchers, but Sandy Koufax, to me, like he had the greatest peak of any pitcher ever.
Yeah, I love Koufax.
I tend to agree.
So small. He was very small statured. He had to retire at the age of 30 because his arm just blew out.
Well, yeah.
There were so many guys on this list, but I'm going to give you 4 guys And then I think there's everybody else. And it's a very difficult thing to say. Mm-hmm. No particular order. Tom Seaver, Pedro Martinez, Sandy Koufax. How many did I just name? Tom Seaver, Pedro Martinez, Sandy Koufax. I'm going to let this list come back one more time. The Rocket I'm considering, but because of some of the other dirt, I might have to bypass him. Probably Bob Gibson.
Yeah.
Probably Bob Gibson. Randy Johnson, you can make an argument, possibly the greatest lefty of all time.
Yep.
And Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't think Nolan Ryan is top 5, but you still can't argue with his 7 no-hitters.
I think Nolan Ryan is definitely top 15 of all time.
Yeah.
His talent was undeniable. He just didn't have the greatest command. He walked too many guys, but
to think that the Mets gave up on him so very early after their World Series of '69, hard to believe. Don Drysdale, CeCe Sabathia, Jim Palmer. I want to make a mention of some of these other guys before we move it along to a couple of things happening in the sports world. These are like the dead ball era guys. Christie, Mathewson, and Cy Young. When you're 55.5 feet from home plate, it was literally a different game. But I still feel that these guys were good enough to be mentioned. And I wanted to, Google that. Google that if you want to see a little more about it. Before we get out of here, non-baseball.
Dead ball era also.
Yeah. Non-baseball related, Monty Williams looking for a new gig. The Detroit Pistons fired him. I mean, is this rock bottom for any coach?
You know what?
How do you coach those guys up? That's like a lose-lose situation.
You know what? I think he got Detroit thing. But see, I feel he got robbed in the last 2 places he went.
I was kind of taken back that he got canned in Phoenix.
Yes. And then you go to Detroit. That place is just, they don't have any talent.
And even from the personal level, the things that he went through, losing his wife at such a young age.
Yes.
I was mind blown that Phoenix kind of did him like that.
Yeah.
I really was. I really, really was. I get it. They were up 2-0 in the finals.
He brought them out the ashes.
But both those coaches are gone from those teams. What is it? Budenholzer is his name? The Milwaukee coach?
That's the weirdest situation.
How do you fire a guy who wins the NBA Finals that quickly?
That's the weirdest situation to me, Milwaukee having so many coaches. That's real curious.
They're all getting paid.
One coach that finally get them to a championship since the freaking Lou Alcindor days.
Right.
And you fire him because the coach, the players are pissed at. I don't know. Then you bring a coach in, Griffin, who was doing damn good. You fire him because he's not playing defense. You bring in a coach that can't win when you're up 3-1.
You know what?
And then even with the Celtics situation, correct me if I'm wrong, the guy who just won the NBA title, didn't he have some sticky situation before that happened? That he couldn't coach last year or 2 years ago or something?
Yep.
The player.
It's weird, man.
I think it's just
Eric Fisher when
prima donnas.
They are. They really are.
It's a weird league with the coaches.
These coaches that got fired should still have jobs. I say freaking Darvin Ham. I think
Darvin Ham's a good coach too.
You go against the Denver Nuggets 2 years straight. 2 years straight.
One of them in the Western Finals.
I'm a LeBron hater. I call him LeGloat. But had they played any other team other than the Denver Nuggets that first round, they make it to the Western Conference Finals.
I have no choice but to agree, and that's the thing. Like, you couldn't pay me enough. Like, I love with these LeBron debates when they're like, "Oh, he never had the right coach." I'm like, I got him all fired.
The one he couldn't get fired is the way he left. He left out Miami because Riley was not firing Spoelstra.
Hell no.
So he had to get out of there. But everybody else, Darvin Ham gone, Luke Walton gone, Vogel gone. Bro, Vogel got you. I mean, it was a Mickey Mouse championship, but he get you a championship. And you fire him the next year.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's dumb. Truly is.
Yeah, I don't even have words for it. It's different for sure. Fellas, Edmonton Oilers storming back from 3-0.
Wow.
Ain't that
it's 3-2 now. And one of them was so lopsided. 8 goals? That never happens. And they followed up with a 5-3 win in South Florida.
Are they starting to believe now?
They absolutely. It's basically, if they win Game 6, it's a winner take all 7. And in the NHL, this has happened 4 other times.
Look here, Richie. I picked Edmonton to beat them too, and I was
sure
like,
did.
It's over when Florida went up. Now I'm like, oh shit!
You should put some money on them. Honestly,
I was perfect. I was perfect in the NHL from the very beginning up until the Rangers, and then everything's been falling off for me.
If they win, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. At this point, is there a part of me that wants Edmonton to win? Yeah. After what the Panthers did to us, yeah. Oh, I'd love that.
I think chaos would just be fantastic. Like,
it's Gary Bettman's worst nightmare having a Canadian team win the cup. And for that alone, go Canada.
Exactly.
I got no love for no South Florida teams.
What's his name on PTI? Get the Canada flag.
Yes.
If they win,
this takes me back to the Attitude Era. This takes me back to the Attitude Era with Heel Brett, a hero in Canada, a hated man in America.
Look, at Everton wins. When we have a show, I'm singing in that.
You bunch of degenerates. I like 97 Bret Hart before the company did him dirty. That was fun. I don't know why I'm even talking about Bret Hart, but it's funny.
Bret Hart will always hate Bill Goldberg. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's never going to be a marriage.
Bret Hart's going to go up to Rizzo. You thought you had a concussion? Man, we're picking on Rizzo hard. Mattingly, you think you had back pain? All right.
Go
Idris, I wanted to ask you this before we get out of here.
Yeah.
What are the big boxing matches that you need to see, want to see, and what is your takeaways from Tank Davis's victory last weekend?
With Tank Davis, I think Frank Martin was scared. Tank Davis knew he had, even at the press conference, he had Frank Martin shook. And when he felt Frank Martin's lack of power early, he knew it was over because he basically said, "Look, I'm gonna knock this guy out."
So you felt that he was conceding rounds, feeling confident that he was going to put him down.
Yeah, because it looked like it. Because Frank hit him whatever he had, and Tank was like, "This guy does not hit hard."
Yeah, I was actually mind blown. I don't get me wrong, Martin's ability to elude punches and get out of the corner was impressive for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw that he was so comfortable with playing in the corner that long, I'm like, man, this ain't gonna end well.
In the corner, Frank with as for the fight film, I want to see Benavidez and Canelo, but Canelo doesn't want to fight anyone. He wants easy fights because Benavidez been sitting there for I don't know how long. Look, fight me. I'm the number one guy. Fight me. But he won't fight him.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Moved up to light heavyweight. Like, look, I'm tired of waiting on you. I'm going for the light heavyweight title. But I want to see. I want to see Crawford fight him. If Crawford said, "Look, I'll move up and fight you," but now he said, "Canelo's full of shit. I don't put him as a top."
Yeah, I'm very disgusted with the way he's moving.
The only fight I see out there for Tank left is him and Shakur Stevenson. That's the fight everyone wants to see. I want to see it too. They talking about him and Lomachenko fighting. Lomachenko's been trying to fight Tank for I don't know how many years.
Do you feel confident with Benavidez staying undefeated?
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, I think so. That guy, he could take a punch. After the last fight, he's like, boy, that guy hit hard. He admitted
it. now, Tyson Fury recently caught his first career loss at the heavyweight division.
Coming up too, so.
Deontay Wilder's out of his mind talking about that he wants a fourth fight with Fury.
You know,
I just can't wrap my head around why Wilder even thinks that's remotely a good idea.
He needs to move down and weight like they're playing at 200 because I don't see who he's going to beat. He's not going to beat Ruiz. Ruiz is a tough guy.
If Wilder wanted to be smart, he should go down to light heavyweight.
Yeah, Wilder, and think about it, and I call it the slow learning boxing community. These guys kept talking about Wilder. I said, look, I'm a former boxer. My trophies are right behind me. I've seen guys like Wilder fight. I fought a guy like Deontay Wilder, and I said, when you take away the big punch, because that's all they got, they don't have nothing left. And with Wilder, I said it's going to take, and I'll keep saying it, it's going to take a boxer to beat him Fury beat him. Then this guy, the Chinese guy Zhang, beat him. It takes a boxer to beat a guy who just has one punch. He has low stamina. I think his biggest mistake was firing Mark Breeden. Breeden taught him how to box.
You mentioned that to me that you didn't like that move.
He went after Malik Scott, picked him up, and since he's been with Malik Scott, he's looked like shit. Wilder's done. He's done. I don't see who he's going to beat.
Now, and what are your thoughts on Fury catching his first loss? Are you concerned for his immediate future? Do you think he was just due to finally lose to somebody?
I think Fury underestimated Usyk. I think he did. I think he underestimated him.
We should be getting a rematch, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think he felt Usyk can hit him hard enough. I think he felt he was too small. He kept saying, "This guy's a midget. He can't even hit me."
Right.
And I think I think he'll come back. I think he'll beat Usyk in the rematch, but they'll have a trilogy.
I think, we're looking at a trilogy there.
Yeah. But if he loses,
how you cut it.
If he loses, I think he'll call it a career.
I believe that's the only play, and maybe we'll get that annoying fourth fight with Wilder, even though nobody wants to see it at this point.
He'll not well out into wild.
And if Wilder beats him, that'll be the worst thing that could happen, because then Wilder will think he can keep fighting.
Yeah, I beat everybody now. You just got your ass. You just did a round.
That's like Jake LaMotta fighting Sugary Robinson 13 times or whatever it was. Like, bro, you beat him once. Calm down.
They put a lot of time. Wilder.
Yeah.
Wilder.
Tyson's gonna take care of Paul, or do you think there's some kind of weirdness going into that?
If they fight, if they let see, there's so many stupid rules to it. That's why I'm like, if he wanted to fight Tyson, stop putting all these stipulations in there.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around what these stips are because it's a little confusing.
First, they had the big freaking
big gloves.
Yeah,
right.
Said that. Then they talked about the headgear. Then they said that the fight couldn't end in the first round or some stuff like that. If Tyson knocked him out in the first round, he'd get penalized. It was so
penalized.
And I got to look at the rule. It's some stupid ass.
And Paul is fighting another guy, isn't he? Like in July.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Man, my thing is, like, if you're gonna fight. Like, what are we doing here?
If you let Tyson fight this guy, no headgear, with the regular gloves, fight won't last one round.
No, I tend to agree. But you still think Mike will handle it?
Yeah, Mike's gonna knock his ass out. Mike is not gonna throw a fight. Mike loves boxing too much. He might hang around like, okay, I'm a character. They said don't knock him out in one round. You can't have no first round knockout. I think he'll let him hang around about a round or two. But you know what? This shit is over. I need to go.
Yeah, I just can't see a scenario where Mike Tyson would put this on Netflix and not handle business.
Right.
I just can't see a scenario.
But I do want to Paul to fight Clarissa Shields and knock her big mouth ass out. I'm tired of her.
You mentioned that.
I'm tired of her.
We're gonna be doing a boxing show in the near future. I think how like we did the movie show. I think that the right way to do this boxing show would be to get like the generational. Maybe we'll do a heavyweight one, and then we'll do a middleweight one another night, or whatever have you. But like, like a Tyson versus a Frazier, and we'll start moving great fighters around like that.
You should do the rankings as well.
Oh no doubt. We're gonna definitely take our time on that. That's why we haven't done it yet, but it's definitely on the horizon.
Tyson not straight out.
So, fellas, a little domestic story here at the house today. Tree removal. Got some help on that. Basically filled up my Nissan Titan to the brim. Unbeknownst to me, I know it was Juneteenth today, but I wasn't aware that it was going to be closed at 12:30. I thought it was going to be open maybe about 2, 3 or so. So I was like, oh, this is great. I got to drive back with all this stuff on my truck now. But shouts out to all my neighbors. I have 4 garbage bins for their yard waste filled to the brim.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. I was able to get it down to just remnants, something that I could sweep up. That's how good I was able to do with all this yard waste. But man, let me tell you boys, my body clock is out of whack. It was raining sideways when I was doing this.
You got a lot of trees around you.
You tired too?
When I came down now, like, yeah.
Bro, it took the man in me to do this show today. I think the Yankees and some coffee is actually what kept me going, and it was a very entertaining game. I'm gonna unfortunately miss tomorrow's game because I got to work a very long one, but
I'll miss it.
I'll be watching tomorrow's game.
Look here.
Yeah, I'll be hitting for some updates.
That's why when I move to either Georgia or Florida sometime next year, I'll make sure I get a plot of land with only one tree. Because I hate, dude, even where I'm right now, I gotta cut shit, and I'm 60. I don't like cutting shit. I get my come here, grandson. I need you to do my yard. That's what I do.
By the way, I will be attending the Rays Yankees July 11th. Gonna actually stay out there for the night, and maybe the next day take note of the aquarium.
Okay.
I got Mom Dukes kind of checking out some Airbnbs, stuff like that. But
you drink. No,
yeah, Noah's first baseball game.
Oh, word.
You might appreciate this, Corey. I recently asked him. I said, "Who's your favorite Yankee?" And without even minimal hesitation, he says Roger Maris.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm like, why? Because I know why he matters to me. I'm like, why does he matter to you? Bro, he spit just straight knowledge. Because Noah is very much into that 61 movie. He's asked to see it more than one time already.
I love that movie.
That movie is pretty damn good.
Barry Pepper as Roger Maris is fantastic.
Nailed it.
And Thomas Jane literally looks like Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
and then when I see that he was in that HBO show Hung for a little while,
a good show.
I was like, it makes sense. He embodies the mental character yet again.
He's a good actor.
He certainly is.
He played the hell out of Mick. Yeah, he played the hell out of Mick. Man.
No, absolutely. If you haven't and you love sports movies, definitely give that a look. Billy Crystal got his handprints.
We got to do a sports
movie on that one.
Did we do that already?
Yeah, we did. But bro, the catalog's deep. There's no reason why we can't come back and do another one.
Yeah.
Either I was on it, I forgot it. I might have been high that night.
That's okay.
I don't remember it.
And on that note,
there's a movie.
I was high that night. Yeah, I remember. I started eating edibles, and halfway through, I was like, okay.
There's a movie about Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson. It's like a TV kind of movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Spirit of the Game or something like that. Look it up.
I gotta put that in my phone. Right.
You know the actor Delroy Lindo? He plays
Satchel Paige. He's a very good actor.
Yeah, I love.
He plays Satchel Paige. Look that up. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's good.
I've never seen it, but
speaking of sports movies, a couple of other ones that are low key good. The name of the movie's not catching me at the moment. Ben Affleck, alcoholic, fighting his demons, basketball coach.
Yeah.
Zappy was the one that put me onto that. That was really good.
Really good.
The Adam Sandler flick, where he is a coach for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, he scouts
Yes, that was good. A lot of good sports movies out there. So any suggestions? Definitely.
Moneyball is one of my favorites.
Moneyball, undeniably. Brad Pitt killed that. I do tend to believe, though, that baseball movies are more sustainable for like legacy-wise. Like The Natural, you got Bull Durham.
Baseball movies hit me in the heart. Like
even the comedic ones, like the Major League series, is great.
Yeah, I think with baseball, because baseball movies, like Corey said, it hits your heart. Baseball movies, they just, it's like they embody the game. It's just like there's nothing like a good baseball movie.
Even The Sandlot, which is like, it's
the greatest baseball movie ever.
Yes, sir.
And I don't have a problem with anyone making that claim. Like what I liked about the comedy, like the Major League movies, particularly part one, is that they really paint a picture of like the dysfunction of locker rooms.
Yeah.
Like the other side of excellence.
And also the despair of Cleveland sports.
Yeah, that they put that on full display as well. What was funny about that too is like when I watched Major League most recently, which was like a week or two ago, it was on the heels of watching the Bronx Zoo documentary on Peacock about the 1990 Yankees.
Oh, that's good.
You want to talk about pure dysfunction.
Oh my goodness.
If you're into dysfunction and just good storytelling, definitely check that out.
I watched it.
Yankees are known for a lot of greatness, but that is not it.
Mel Hall, come on, man.
Mel Hall, bro. How the hell did that picture make the Yankee yearbook? And you know what the sick part is? I think I had that yearbook.
Like baseball movies compared to basketball movies, or the basketball movie, you can pretty much tell how the movie is going to end up in the end. You
One of my all-time basketball movies is actually Above the Rim.
Yeah,
that's a great movie.
Baseball movies actually tell a story.
I like the one with.
There's a lot to them.
What's the one with Kevin Costner where he plays on the Tigers?
Love of the Game.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But Kevin Costner, he's hit. I mean, bro, you got Field of Dreams, Love of the Game, Bull Durham.
You think he loves baseball?
He got this coach, man.
He did do a pretty good job. He did do a pretty good job in Draft Day alongside Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah,
42.
Poor Chadwick.
Another great.
We got to do another. My favorite. I guess we way past the time. My favorite. Good. I guess my favorite one is Raging Bull.
Boxing movies have a very interesting lane as well. I mean, the Rocky saga, that's hard to top. But Raging Bull was pretty damn good.
Raging Bull.
The one movie that surprised me at the end was Great White Height.
Yeah. You ever seen the movie?
Like, okay.
You thought that the Irish guy had a shot, right? Yeah, I kind of did too.
I thought they were going to really have a fight. I'm like, what? I mean, but I liked it.
Tyson was actually a good movie, believe it or not.
You ever seen the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal as he plays a boxer?
That was good.
I forget the name of it.
Fighter, I think.
Yeah.
$1 Million Baby, one of the best movies I have ever seen.
Yeah,
it happens to be that's in between. It's a drama. It's a sports movie, one and the same.
What a cast!
Yeah. But on a comedic level, if you want to see something funny, Grudge Match with Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro.
I have not seen that.
The other time that those two were on screen together was actually Copland.
I didn't see that.
That was a good movie too. It was a lot of truth to it. I'll put it to you like that, but definitely give that a look as well. Until next time, he's Idris and he's Corey. Appreciate you guys hanging with us.
Yeah.
Willie Mays, we are gonna miss you. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Willie.
Yankees get him tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.
Have a good night, guys.
Sure.